First of all, I want to join to my colleagues in congratulating you for organizing this event. We think, I guess, we all think it's really important that this is happening, and I feel really honored of being here. So thank you very much for inviting me. Answering to your question, we live in an environment where more food is traded than we are able to consume, and where there is a significant food wastage. Two facts about Spain. In Spanish houses weighs almost 1,340 millions of kilograms or liters of food and drink per year. And in 8 out of 10 houses, products are thrown away exactly as they were bought. Some of these foods are grown or produced in Spain in sufficient quantities to supply the population, but others are not. For example, in Spain, we import almost 13 times more legumes in international markets than we sell. We have already seen that this food system is neither sustainable for the environment nor resistant to crises such as pandemics or wars. Both things we never thought we would see, but here they are. So we need to redesign our food system. We need to substantially reduce global greenhouse gas emissions, reduce the consumption of natural resources, curb the loss of biodiversity and negative health impacts, and allow all actors involved in the change to have fair economic returns and a decent livelihood. And consumers have the power to improve the situation, because choices we make condition the production of the food industry. Therefore, we must give priority to local and seasonal products, to plant-based food, of course, pay more attention to labels to know where the food comes from, and avoid buying more than we need. The challenge is complex, but one thing is clear, in my opinion: our consumption habits and the supermarket landscapes are changing, have already changed. The debate on sustainability and food sovereignty is already on the table of Spanish citizens. And of course, civil society organizations have a lot to do with that. And in my opinion, we are still fundamental in the conversion to a sustainable food system. We must make the population aware of all these issues, and at PACMA, which is a political party in Spain for the animals, among many other things, for example, we are making a great effort to raise awareness of the serious harm caused by consuming animal products, as well as the advantages, on the contrary, of switching to a plant-based diet. Today, we see that this is being achieved, and therefore we will continue working on this strategy. But this involves a lot of different organizations. In PACMA, we say we are a political party, so we make the pressure on the different governments, from Europe to the Spanish government, to the autonomies, very different levels. But this is a teamwork of many other organizations, not only worried about the animals, but also worried about the environment. We need to put all the work together: producer, business, consumers, parents. We are seeing, we have here different organizations we also have in Spain. I think we are doing in our country a great job, but not enough. I am seeing now, like in countries like Italy or Poland, they are very much ahead of Spain. We still have a lot of work to do, and even though we are already seeing changes in the food system in order to make it more sustainable, we still have a lot of work to do. The path is long in Spain, and even though I'm happy, we still do have a lot work to do. In Spain, unfortunately, as you may already know, we are not famous for the treatment toward animals. We have parties with them. Some people enjoy seeing how we misbehave toward animals. So this is not different in the feeding habits of Spanish people. We are, as I will mention later, we are known like the biggest country in Europe of having intensive farming. We call it here macro farm. So this is not only horrible for the environment, but it especially implies big suffer for animals. So we are not enough conscious here yet. And that's why I say we need to work a lot on that. We see that, as I was saying, this lack of consciousness, we suffer it also in the animal party, in PACMA, because we still don't have representation in any government, in any public administration. The percentage is different. If we go to the central one, I mean the Spanish public administration of the country, we need 3%, sorry. And if it's a local government, a town hall, for example, we need 5%, and it's the same in the autonomies. So, but the election system is very far to be democratic, in my opinion, here, because not every vote is equal in different parts of the country. I mean, maybe who votes in Catalonia is not equally valued as one in Andalusia, which is my autonomy, because it's very big and the system does not give the same value to every vote. So I think it's unfair, and it's the main reason why PACMA is not yet in the government. Well, in PACMA, as a political party, we have always defended, and we have always had in our programs the right of people to eat in a sustainable, ethical, and healthy way. As we have been saying today, we demand that there must be vegan menu options in bars, cafes, restaurants, canteens in public facilities, administrative and public buildings, school and universities, hospitals, prisons. This is the only way to guarantee the freedom of the growing number of people who have decided to eat in a healthy and animal-friendly way. Regarding the example you just mentioned, in PACMA we proposed, and in the contracts for provision of these services, it should be compulsory to offer vegan menu options in places that depend directly on the public administrations, as well as to encourage their inclusion in the private catering sector. But in addition to this, we propose many other measures to create a sustainable food system. For example, reducing considerably the consumption of animal-based food. Production of meat and dairy products, among others, is one of the main contributors to global warming, due not only to the emissions generated by the crops used to feed the animals, but also by the fermentation that takes place in their digestive systems. It is the second cause of CO2 emissions into the atmosphere, only behind the energy and manufacturing industries, and it is expected to continue increasing in the coming years if no actions are taken. And from our point of view, this is due to the lack of European legislation in this area, or the laxity of some of these regulations, especially relating to pig and poultry farms. According to the experts, there is no need to produce more food. There is enough for the almost 8 billion people in the world, and even for 9 billion. So, but not enough to consume meat every day. In the words of the UN, a global shift to a vegan diet is vital to save the world from hunger, fuel poverty, and the worst impacts of climate change. Furthermore, there is clear evidence, we have been talking today, of the link between the consumption of animal-based food and a variety of diseases, the threat of water availability and contamination, soil degradation, and deforestation. For all these reasons, it is essential, in our opinion, to minimize the consumption of animals. From PACMA, we propose several measures, such as climate tax to these products, which would be calculated according to the emissions generated by the production process, a stop giving European subsidies to the sector, prohibition of institutional campaigns to promote these animal products, and information, on the contrary, campaigns on the health benefits of a diet free of animal products, as well as campaigns showing the real situation in which animals live on farms and environmental consequences of intensive livestock farming. But even more, as I was talking before, we would obviously propose banning macro farms or intensive farming. We need to break away from the outmoded concept of industrialized intensive livestock farming. In Spain, for example, we have more than 86,000 farms registered, and the 84% of them are now macro farms. The pig population in our country already exceeds the number of people by 3.5 million. Actually, Spain is known in the rest of Europe as the dunghill of Europe. We cannot allow this. All the negative consequences of animal-based products that we are mentioning today go completely out of control with macro farming. For all this reason, one of the basic guidelines we would propose in this framework in the Commission, European Commission, should simply consist on ban this kind of macro farming. But together with these measures, the European Union needs to protect and promote agriculture. In PACMA, we are committed to the defense and support of agriculture throughout Europe, as opposed to the million in subsidies currently granted to livestock farming and fishing. European Union agriculture is one of the world's leading food producers, and policies must ensure its future. However, in PACMA, we defend an agriculture in which traditional rural areas are favored over large estates. Unsustainable intensive production has led to declining soil fertility, environmental degradation, destruction of biodiversity, accumulation of chemicals in water and soil, rural abandonment, unsafe and unhealthy food. So a deep reform we consider needs to be taken into the common agriculture policy. And some of our proposal I could mention would be encourage subsidies for agriculture, which production is more environmentally friendly, encourage the consumption of local products, of course, revitalize degraded agricultural lands, or support renewable energies for irrigation system, which make them more efficient. But apart from this, we consider these measures need to be complemented by restricting chemical and promoting organic agriculture. Chemical pollution is one of the major environmental problems of our time, and European policies must contribute reducing the exposure of the population and other living beings to these substances. We should promote and support a system that combines best environmental practices with a high level of biodiversity and preservation of natural resources. It has been proved that agriculture without the use of fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides is possible and is the best option to protect our health and environment. And in addition to this, the techniques used in organic farming, forestry, and gardening to control spontaneous plants provide a diverse food source for pollinating species such as bees, which are in such a great danger right now, and are also a refuge for species that help control potential insect pests affecting the crops. So this is just a summary of all the guidelines that, in my opinion, or in opinion of my political party, should be without a doubt taken into consideration by decision makers in the development of the sustainable food system framework that will be introduced by European Commission by the end of 2023. We very much hope that these issues will be taken very seriously, since the future of the planet and all living beings depends on it. Well, as I was talking before, in the first questions you made, consumption habits. I mean, the decisions made by consumers is extremely important, because their habits have influence in the producers and in local business or big supermarkets, and this makes the money moves. So everything that moves money, it's important for the politicians. So they will invest more in promoting or granting these consuming habits that people like us can have every day. But also this all new variety of plant-based products we are having today, I can see it here in Spain, is extremely important in order to make governments to move this way, seeing that not only strict vegan brands, but the only ones that have been living on animal products, like not only meat, but a lot of dairy brands are adapting their products to plant-based one, is the biggest evidence that things are changing. And in Spain, we have had a great, how do we say, argument like 1 year before, because one of our politicians, especially one dedicated to consumption, said that we need to reduce for our health and for the planet the consuming meat. Well, you can't imagine the stupid arguments that came around this issue. Our president said, that the president of Spain said that he would never change a big stick for lettuce or something like that, or that the biggest meat, big stick of meat is not comparable to anything else. We cannot allow politicians with such a great capacity of influence people to say this. It's completely irresponsible. So it's a work of all the society to make them change their mind. I think it's our biggest job.
Just a very short
no,
one.
Just to remark what Agatha just said. I once read that there is a theory that we need to destroy. We need to make this work in the society, in our closest people, family, friends, and it's the theory of the 3 N's. 3 N's, okay? And is that it consists on that eating animals or products coming from animals is natural, is normal, and is necessary. So we need to destroy this. We have this theory so fixed in our heads. Well, not ours, because we are now conscious, but most of people think this, and we need to destroy this theory. Eating animals is not natural, is not necessary, is over. This discussion is completely done now. It's not necessary, it's proven, scientifically proven, and it's not normal nowadays. We don't need to make it normal, maybe prehistorically, yeah, but not nowadays. So maybe it's one of the things we should point out in this discussion.